Hello everybody!
Hello!
We have a very special birthday edition talk with the nutrition consultants. It is Andrea's birthday today.
Yay, it's my birthday!
So, I am Dr. Adam Martin with TheFitPharmacist, here with Andrea of the Diet Doc Waldorf. And today we're going to be talking about a very hot topic in nutrition, that of gluten. We hear about this in the media all the time. When you're shopping out in the grocery store, you probably see gluten-free sections. A lot of foods are even advertising gluten-free. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Because Andrea, tell us why that's important with gluten. Do you have experience with that?
I do. I actually have gluten intolerances and a lot of food sensitivities. And I actually has to stay away from gluten in general just because I have a lot of symptoms if I actually consume gluten.
Right. So Andrea has a lot of experience with being gluten-free because it's something that she's had to live with and make those changes with her diet and lifestyle. So I guess the first question is, what is gluten?
Gluten actually is a protein from wheat. And most people cannot digest well gluten. So that's what it is, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. So what kind of foods have gluten? It's a protein, so isn't protein good? What could be like, what causes that? Just people can be allergic or intolerant?
They can be both of them, actually. The allergies and intolerances are different.
Okay.
Definitely. If you have a food allergy, it's life-threatening. And it's immediately. So if you eat, let's say, whole wheat, let's say a whole wheat bread, immediately you're gonna have that reaction of rashes. You can close your throat and then you'll be swallowing. So this is life-threatening. And food intolerances is the sensitivity is just because your body cannot break it down and digest well. The symptoms can appear after between 48 to 7, even up to 72 hours, which is kind of it's a delay of the symptom. So you might feel headaches, you might feel pains, even joint pain, bloating, inflammation of your body. If you kind of start denying those symptoms. Yes. Definitely.
So a gluten allergy is like your typical food allergy or medication allergy where it's immediate life-threatening,
Yes.
which isn't very common.
No.
But gluten intolerance is more common because that's delayed onset with stomach upset, issues like that. That's more common if you have that sort of symptom.
Yes,
So
definitely.
I want to clear up gluten intolerance versus gluten allergy because understanding those is very important to move forward with your diet and nutrition.
Yes.
So now that we understand that and we know what gluten is, what foods have gluten? So if you're trying to, you think you might have a gluten intolerance, what are some examples of common foods that have gluten that you might want to look at?
Yeah, the most common food will be wheat. So when you're looking up to your, reading your labels, of course, stay away from wheat. Another common food is kamut, which is a grain. Another, even it has like foods that it does contain gluten that we don't realize, like soy sauce. They do add gluten in it as a emulsifier. Another foods that contain gluten is barley, even oats. If you are buying oats, make sure that you're buying certified organic and gluten-free oats. Those are very common foods that contains gluten. And I have a list that I can definitely share with you guys later on.
Absolutely. So the main things would be like grains, but some of the hidden ones can actually be sauces that are derived from those, like soy sauce. And like Andrea said, she has a really good resource list for that that we'll put in the video.
Yes.
It's also on her website, which I highly recommend you check out. Where is your website so people can learn more?
My website is andreakuwanodupuy.com, and I share a lot of gluten-free vegan recipes they're easy to make and utilize like gluten-free flours and foods that are safe for if you have gluten-free, gluten intolerance or sensitivity or even allergies. So they're very easy to make.
We actually have a recipe series going through each meal of the day. We did one on breakfast, comparing the standard way to make pancakes and a vegan and gluten-free pancake recipe that takes less than 5 minutes to make and requires 5 ingredients or less. And they taste 5 times better than any other pancake you've had. So it's a win-win-win on all fronts.
It is.
So definitely check that out. So we talked about gluten, where we can find it, and gluten intolerance being the more common issue that people can have with their diet and nutrition.
Yeah.
So if someone thinks they are gluten intolerant and they want to just try to see if they feel better, what are some options of gluten-free foods that don't taste like cardboard, aren't impossible to find, and aren't crazy expensive?
Yeah, I think a lot of people who are, they recognize that they have some of those allergies or intolerances, they feel like they don't have options. Now these days it's super easy, thank God, you know, we have tons of options. And my go-to when I go as far as, I don't restrict myself of any food. So I go from my cereals, you know, I definitely recommend you guys to go with like a brown. I know I'm not a sponsor,
Vanna White.
like brown, but brown rice cereals, because brown rice are gluten-free. So those are some of the foods you can definitely go. You have like plain, you have chocolate. Another thing too, Cheerios, yes, they're gluten-free, guys. So very safe. Just make sure that you, of course, you know, go with the gluten-free. Is right here at the bottom. So if you have celiac disease or even Crohn's disease, definitely this is very safe. Oats, like I mentioned before, just make sure that you're buying gluten-free and read your label as well. That has, because oats, they are naturally gluten-free. The problem with oats that is because they are manufactured in a facility that contains gluten. So if it's certified gluten-free, that means that it's manufactured in a facility that is gluten-free. Chips, you know, everybody loves their chips.
Salty crunch.
Yeah, I know. And most chips does contain gluten. Your go-to would be corn. Corn is gluten-free. So, or even now these days we have like made of beans. Beans are gluten-free. This one's made of black beans and I love it.
Magical fruit.
I know, magical. Pasta, we have tons of gluten-free pasta. I love like the ones that are made with beans. This one is made actually from legumes and it's from lentils. They have brown rice pasta or just rice pasta. So look up to those and make sure you're reading your labels, because even though say, you know, it's brown rice, they might in the mixture might have semolina, which is a gluten flour. Another thing too, yes, you have to be very, very careful with those labels as like, you know, just a brown rice or whatever. If it does not say it's gluten-free, be aware.
So that's for the Italian, if you want to have that pasta dish, but you still want to get that gluten, because we said earlier that wheat is a huge thing. So what if you are on the go or you're at work packing a lunch and you want to make a sandwich? A lot of breads are made from gluten, so what would we do with the bread to make that change?
Well, I have some options here. The ones that I found, a lot of my clients asking me as well, because the texture will change. Once you start mixing like a different flours, the texture definitely will change. But I found like this brand right here, Canyon House, Bakery House. They made great options for gluten intolerance or gluten-free, and they are all made with brown rice, tapioca flour, guar gum. So, and then they have different options. Like this one is raisin, cinnamon raisin, and this one is like just deli rice style. But they do make different options as well.
Now, what if you're on the go or like traveling? So I'll be driving back to Pittsburgh. It'll be about a 5-hour drive. So I won't be able to make pasta or have a sandwich. But what if I wanted to be gluten-free, but I wanted like a quick bite, like a protein bar or something? What option would you have for that?
I definitely, now these days again, they have tons. RX bars.
Ooh, RX.
I know, right? Only 5 ingredients. Hey, this is your aisle.
It's the pharmacist in me. I love it.
Yes.
And they're delicious.
They are. They're gluten-free, made with natural ingredients. Another one is gluten-free actually also is Lara bars. They don't have a lot of protein, but they do have some of, they offer with more protein. This one actually is just more like a snack. Lara bars are great. So always look it up. There has to be, on the label has to be gluten, saying it's a gluten-free for sure.
Gluten-free. Another thing is a lot of people have gone to gluten-free to try it, either to try with their diet or because they have found that they're gluten intolerant. So a lot of grocery stores have adapted and made that change, and there actually will be whole sections that say gluten-free. Walmart, Safeway, Giant Eagle, all these places have these sections. If you're not familiar where they are, simply just go and ask either a cashier or the store manager and they will point that out. Almost every grocery store has these, so they make it very easy for you to find, because not too long ago you'd have to go and search and look for these and there wasn't many companies offering it.
Very, very difficult. I remember when I started, it was very difficult for me, especially to adapt to this new lifestyle. But now these days, definitely, just like Adam was saying, you can go to any grocery store now these days, and they have a great selection of flours from, from cereals to flours and from everything, even like a baking goods. Yeah. Which I think that would be something that, it's great. But we just have to be a little aware with that fine line about gluten-free doesn't mean it's healthy.
Exactly. That's one of the misconceptions is gluten-free or organic doesn't mean it's macro-friendly or low-fat or low-carb or healthy overall. No. It simply means in that context. So don't take that and run with it to apply it overall. Keep that in context.
Definitely.
Yes. So guys, there's the breakdown on gluten, gluten intolerance, what foods have it, where to find gluten-free, how to get started if that's something you're looking into, from a professional expert, Andrea. She also has a ton more video footage on recipes, on other nutrition topics, on her website that she had mentioned earlier. And then she also does have a phenomenal YouTube channel that I highly recommend you subscribe to. How do people find you there?
Oh, my YouTube channel is Andrea Kuwano, and also I have my Instagram. It's AKG is in dog _fitness_nutrition. Awesome.
Well guys, there's some resources for you for now, and then also as you continue on with your health and fitness journey. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom. Dr. Adam Martin from TheFitPharmacist signing off. You guys have an awesome rest of your weekend and a great week ahead. See y'all.